Hello, all, and welcome to a new episode of the Horror Countdown Podcast. I'm your host, Donanelli, and with me tonight is one of my old brethren, one of the first guys I ever podcasted with, Mr. Bill Cassinelli.
Hello, and how are you all doing? Love you all.
Yeah. So, it's been a while. It's been since the Horror Mafia days when you and me were together.
That's right. It's been a long time now, it seems.
Yeah, I know. It's bringing back some nostalgia, going back through some of our old shows together and remembering our good times. But yeah, for tonight's episode, we're going to be looking at our 10 favorite films we love that others seem to hate. So, you suggested this and the alternate, 10 films you hate that others love. But what was the choice behind this title? What were you thinking of doing with this?
Well, because everyone always blows these movies and like sucks the penis of all these movies that I'm just like, oh my God, really? You guys like that? I hate that movie. And then at the same time, all these movies I love, and people are like, oh, this is the worst movie ever made. I'm just like, dude. So yeah, that's why.
Nice, yeah. So, mine's going to be kind of fun. You may have heard some my choices on previous shows, but hopefully we'll have enough fun stuff to go around. So, let's start in with number 10.
All right. My number 10 is a very, very unpopular uh, number of a, of a franchise, actually, that everyone seems to unanimously hate, but I don't get the hate. My number 10 is Scream 3.
Hmm.
Everyone's like, that's the worst Scream movie ever. There's only one killer and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, hey, Jay and Silent Bob are in it, and Lance Henriksen's in it, and what's his name? The director of all those movies. Oh God, now I'm drawing a blank. Yeah,
Oh, Corman?
Roger Corman. Thank you. Roger Corman's in it. I'm like, all these people are in this, and this is, it's like a love letter to old horror. But yep, everyone hates it because of what's her name's bangs.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've revisited the franchise. I really need to get a fresh new take on that. But especially since I figure that the new one. I don't know if you've seen five yet, but
I have.
I've kind of been so disappointed with that. I've kind of been debating whether or not that one's actually the weakest. So yeah, I do kind of need to revisit the franchise because it's been a while since I've seen two and three. So yeah, that's not a bad one. I'd be curious to see where it is because I usually find with a franchise, the films always improve somewhat slightly on rewatch.
Mhm.
So, I wasn't a huge fan of four at all, but I grew to
I'm
like the
with you right there, man. I am right with you.
yeah. So, I really need to give that series a new watch. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, speaking of a universally unpopular franchise entry, that's my number 10. Although I actually went with a legitimate 10 in Jason X.
Hey, very good.
Oh yeah. I kind of knew you were a fan, so I wasn't really hard to put this one on the list, but yeah, I'm a big fan of this one. I don't get the hate for it. It's goofy, it's silly, but it's purposely done and it's enjoyable cheesy.
Yeah.
The kills are just so stupid and over the top, and the characters are just this fun-loving group of guys that I actually want to be around, and everything about it is just a blast. So
Sure.
yeah, I've always been a champion of that one.
And don't forget David Cronenberg.
Oh yeah, he's got one of the best parts in the film. Yeah. So yeah, again, another big one, another one with a nice cameo involved. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, let's move on to number 9.
Oh, my number 9 is another. Well, I think just about all of these, except for like one, are sequels to movies. The next one is a sequel. Everybody shits on it. I think as its own movie, it's great if it weren't for the CGI. All right. So the only thing I can say is bad CGI, but without that, American Werewolf in Paris is actually a lot of fun.
Honestly, I haven't seen that in almost a decade. It's been a while since I've seen that. And yeah, I do remember some like I do remember it having some fun moments. I do remember liking parts of it. Yeah, the CGI just it kind of stands out a lot.
Yeah, the
In
CGI destroys the movie. But
yeah,
apart from that, it's a lot of fun. It's a fun little horror movie, guys.
yeah, I'm saying I haven't seen it in well over a decade, so I mean I'm kind of drawing a blank. And yeah, I mean you are right. The CGI is just the most notable
It is.
factor. Yeah. So
And
yeah,
I get
that's
it.
yeah. I mean that's another one I'd probably have to revisit. But yeah, nice choice there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So,
What's your number 9?
so my number nine is kind of a recent one. This is one that I watched a couple weeks ago on my other show, Fresh Cuts. At least is the time we're recording this. One I did not understand the hate at all because when we reviewed it, when we reviewed it on the show, it was sitting at around a two out of 10 on IMDb, and it's like, what the hell are you people watching? It is the Requin.
The what?
So the Requin. It's a new killer shark movie with Alicia
Oh,
Silverstone.
oh, yeah, I've not seen that yet. The Requiem, right, right. I want to see that one.
Okay, yeah. So because of that, I'll try to keep it just a tad bit vague. So the general plot is, she's the wife and a married couple. They're going on vacation in Vietnam. They're staying at this seaside bungalow resort kind of a facility, and then this storm comes in and attacks the place. And there's several others, but they're the only ones that are still inside the bunker when it gets when it just leaves the facility and is swept away in the debris,
Uh-huh.
and they have to try to get back to safety, but then all of a sudden they realize there's a shark following them.
Yeah, yeah. This is a very, very recent movie for me to actually hate on because I haven't seen it. It's been a, oh man,
Yeah.
I have not really heard much about this one. So you could be
Well,
right. Like everyone's shitting on it.
yeah.
So,
Well, the thing is that when we did it on Fresh Cuts, like I said, the time we recorded it, the IMDb rating was barely above a two.
wow.
So I will say this: don't go in expecting a balls to the wall shark film.
Mhm.
The shark is I equated it somewhat similar to like the final boss in like a video game kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
It's much more of a survival thriller.
Huh.
So it's more about, how are they going to survive on the island, on this, ramshackle little bungalow that they're, swept, that they're trapped in.
Hmm.
Are they going to, get, they're going to alert the safety of the passing boat in time? Are they going to dehydrate? Are they going to, burn up in the elements, that kind of a thing? And, it's got all of those elements in, and then, oh crap, there's a shark as well.
Right. Sounds
So
like a survival video game.
yeah, that's kind of where it goes. I mean, like I said, the shark is basically like a final boss to like finally get out of it alive. But
Hmm.
it,
Not the
it's
most dangerous element there, though.
right, yeah. Well, I don't
One
know
of
this.
the elements.
Right, yeah. I will say this: the shark doesn't show up until about an hour in.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, like I said, those expecting balls to the wall shark films, that's not what this is. But yeah, I won't say much more. I'll leave you to it whenever you can. But yeah, my number nine, I had a lot of fun with it. So it's the Requin.
Very nice. I do want to see that one. It's on my list. My number 8, again, another uh, sequel. I love this movie. I saw it in the theater. I don't get all the hate. Is The Rage Carrie 2.
Mm.
I thought this movie is, it captures the 90s version of what the 70s Carrie captured and being bullied in high school. They weren't like throwing tampons on her, but in the 90s it was a different thing, and she had um the tattoo because she was the outside with the tattoo of the ivy, and her name was Ivy, wasn't it?
I believe
Yeah,
Ivy or
and
Evie or Evie. Maybe it was Evie. Maybe they just called her Ivy because of the tattoo, but I think her name was Evie.
but I liked how it like grew the madder she got, and it like I don't know. I thought this is a really fun, awesome revenge high school I thought it followed Carrie really well, bringing it to like a modern age. I really thought the gore was great. Like, and it killed the bad guys at the end. I really dug it.
I'll be honest, I had a lot of fun with it as well, and it was actually a contender for my list. I bumped it off to an honorable mention. But yeah, I'm with you. I had a lot more fun with it than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do agree. I do like the finale a lot. I think it's a lot almost. It's got a lot going on with it that I really like, and it's almost as good as the gym destruction in the original. I think the gym destruction is a little bit more iconic just because of what happens.
Hmm.
I think the door slamming shut, and I think all of the fires and all the chaos and stampedes and all that. I think that one's it hits a little differently, but I do like the house destruction. I do like the chaos she creates, and there's a lot of fun stuff there. So yeah,
And the
um,
glass breaking and all the gore that goes with it.
yeah. I mean, like I said, it's an honorable mention for me because it was a contender. So yeah, I definitely agree.
Hmm.
So yeah, my number 8 is just like you, another undervalued and unloved sequel. I went with Texas Chainsaw 3D.
There you go.
Yeah, everybody craps on it for the one line. Everybody always says the one line, and it's like everything else in that film is rendered null and void by "Do your
Hmm.
thing," cuz.
Do your thing, cuz.
And the cringy thing is, I never even thought it was a bad line when I first saw it.
Oh yeah,
I mean, the thing is, in the context of why she says it, it makes complete sense.
I agree with you.
Yeah. And everybody just seems to take it out of context and be like, okay, well, they said, do your thing, cuz. And it's like, you realize why she said that, right? The scene is her empowering him to fight back against the other people that are oppressing them.
Right.
Leatherface is not the bad guy. He's, the same misunderstood and completely clueless grunt that he's always been.
Yes, he is.
But there's other villains in the film more dangerous than him. He's protecting his home. He doesn't know any better.
Yes.
But he's got the sheriff and his posse doing their thing, and at the time they're about to take the upper hand. So her throwing him the chainsaw and say, "Do your thing." It's an
Mhm.
uplifting moment, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I completely don't get the hate for this.
I am with you there 100%.
I mean, I understand when people say that they've got legitimate issues with the story because that does not make sense.
And
Trying.
let's also not forget that this is the goriest Texas Chainsaw movie until this year.
Indeed, yeah. All of the kills in that thing are just brutal as hell.
Very
And
brutal.
yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, the story makes no sense. Tying this into the 74 version makes no sense, but
Well, I don't know. Vietnam, the one guy wanting to burn his draft card, but the other one wants him to go. I mean, it
I know,
makes
but
sense to me.
I'm just saying, making believe that this is the events. The, the idea is that this is actually 94, not
Oh,
2013.
gotcha. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. The whole thing is that this was 20 years after the original. So this is supposed to be 94, not 2013. I think
Right.
that's where everybody's coming from. But yeah,
Okay.
other than that, yeah, I don't have too many issues with this one. I had a lot of fun with it, and yeah, I think it's criminally undervalued.
Hmm. So, which leads me to my number 7.
Hmm.
And you'll probably agree with everyone else except me here on this one, but Hellraiser 4 Bloodlines. I really thought it was a great idea to show 3 or 4 different versions of how this box was invented and used in the past, in the present, in the future with space. I really dug that. I thought it was ingenious how the space station was a big box. It was
Oh
a puzzle
yeah,
box.
yeah. I remember when I first saw it, I thought that was a really cool revelation. The way that they came about using the space station as like the final form box that they used to send them back to
Yeah.
hell. I
So,
don't know if that's an actual spoiler or not, but yeah, that was a really cool revelation. It caught me off guard.
mhm. And I
I
don't
have
get the hate. I really don't.
Yeah, I've come around to it. I do need to give the franchise a rewatch because after 3, I'm kind of at a loss as to what happened in which one.
Well, I wouldn't say the whole franchise a rewatch because after 4, they tend to be the same movie with a different
But the thing
name.
is that I remember actually really liking one of the sequels. I think it was either 5 or 6, but I don't remember which one.
Ah,
So the thing is that for some reason there's always this thought in my mind that 5 or 6 was really good, and I don't remember which one it was.
well, if I can interject, I would say the one with the online video game I kind of liked, if that's the one you're talking about.
No, I think that's the online video game one. I think that was either 7 or 8. I think it was the one before that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, some of them kind of run together. I know that there was one that I thought was just absolutely horrid.
Oh, I think a lot of them were absolutely horrid after 4. But
Yeah,
to me, 4 was like the real last real like
yeah,
Hellraiser movie.
right, yeah. I've always really enjoyed that one. Not enough to make my list, but I am a big fan. So yeah, that's another good one.
And the guy playing 3 different roles of his own relatives in the past and future. I like that.
Yeah, but yeah, that was another pretty cool one. So
Yeah, but sadly, the director himself, who is a special effects artist, he actually took his name off and made it Alan Smithy.
I think yeah, wasn't he the same guy that did the Chucky puppet in the
Yes,
original?
he was Kevin
I
Yeager.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I always thought that was a really weird choice. I mean, you bring a special effects guy in to do a Hellraiser, that's like a, that's almost like a guarantee right there. So,
Yep. Oh well,
yeah.
I liked it, even though the director didn't.
Hmm. Oh well. So moving on to my number 7, I kind of followed in your footsteps apparently because I have a Carrie film, just not that one. I have the 2013 remake.
Oh,
I've always thought this one was pretty underrated. I know everybody kind of crapped on it just because I do agree with a lot of the sentiments. Chloe Grace Moretz is way too pretty to be cast as the
right.
downtrodden.
She wouldn't be bullied in school for her looks, right?
Yeah, she's way too attractive to be that kind of a person, and yeah, that is a bit of a distraction at points. But I do like a lot of what else it does. I do like the main supporting characters. I do like the gym teacher. I always forget who she was, but I've seen her pop up in other films, and I've always really liked her. I always thought she was like a fun character actress.
Hmm.
Yeah, the name escapes me just because there's like so much crap going on in my head. But
It's okay. I've
I
never seen it, so I don't know.
yeah, I've always really liked like I said, the gym teacher was always really good. Julianne Moore is a real interesting choice, and I kind of like that they went with her for for the role of the mother,
Oh, she was the
because
mom, Julianne Moore. Wow.
yeah, Julianne Moore is the mom. She plays the Piper Laurie role.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she's really good in that one too. Everybody just craps on it because Chloe Grace is too hot to be the ugly speckled teenage loner outcast, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's better than you think. I don't. I do like the made for TV version better, but I don't know like it enough to say that that one's better. So I went with this one instead.
Right. I know there were 2 different remakes, right?
Yeah,
One
there's
was made for
the
TV and that
yeah
one.
the made for TV one. I do legitimately like more. I do think that one's a better one, but I haven't heard enough people say how they feel about it to get an idea of whether or not I would put that one over this one. So because I know that there's more of an outcry over this one, I kind of put it on my list. So yeah, number 7 for me is the 2013 Carrie remake.
Very nice. Oh, now we're going to my number 6. We are going to look at something in the 80s that happened. There were parents that were so against a movie. They boycotted a movie and they picketed a movie and they got it to be taken out of theaters and banned. Okay. One of these parents uh, was, not parents, sorry, one of the people involved was a one Mickey Rooney, the actor, the child actor from, you know what, from all his movies he's done. Well, he decided to be the lead guy in part 5. My favorite of them is The Toy Maker, Silent Night, Deadly Night, part 5.
Nice.
So Mickey Rooney.
Yeah, that's always been one of the weirdest casting things I've ever
It
heard.
is, considering that he hated the first one so much to get it taken out. However, this movie is so much fun. It's got him, it's got Clint Howard. It's so much fun. This movie is one of the best. Again, it shouldn't be a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie because it has nothing to do with the original, but check it out.
Yeah, I've seen it once and I've liked it. Yeah, I do like it. I think it's the best of the sequels.
Agreed. It's got
Yeah,
the Pinocchio aspect, it's got the gore, it's got like everything except for the killer Santa Claus.
yeah, yeah. I'm saying because I
So
know that the 1, 2, and 3 are thematically. I think that those are the ones that connect each other, right?
right. And then
And
they go
then
off into witches
and
and
then four
this and
is the
right.
four is the witch cult, and then
Yep.
5 is the toy maker one. Yeah,
Yep. They go nuts.
yeah, yeah.
But I really like this one. This is like my favorite of all the sequels. Everyone loves 2 for some reason now. It's like a bunch of rehashes from the first movie with this other guy going garbage day. I'm like, no, that sucks. This one's way better.
Yeah, I mean, not to go off on a tangent on this, but I've never understood two's appeal at all.
Agreed. Like it's like the Boogeyman 2. It's all scenes from the first one. Why would you pay for that?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I mean, two to me is like barely even a movie. I mean,
Agreed.
there's what, like 30, 40 minutes of new film footage in that?
If that,
And
right.
yeah, and is any of it actually any good? I mean, yeah, the guy, he raises his eyebrows and acts with his head for 90% of it, but that doesn't make
And
it
he
even
pulls a
good.
gun out and shoots people. I'm like, come on now, this ain't a
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah, yeah, that I've never understood the appeal of two.
Agreed.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I definitely agree. 5 is my favorite of the sequels. So
Oh yeah. Everyone hates it though.
yeah.
All right, what's your number 6?
All right, my number 6 is, I mean, kind of an oddball choice. Coming from me. I mean, that shouldn't be expected, but I went with something that I know how you feel about this one, but this is going to be one that I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for. I went with Halloween Resurrection.
Hmm.
So I know everybody always, always, always craps on the retcon at the beginning,
Yep.
taking away the finale of H2O and putting on this, strange new twist and reveal about how Michael escapes and
Yep.
Jamie's now locked in this mental asylum, and
No, I
Michael.
don't think that's the one. I don't think that's the big reason everyone hates it. I think it's that again the catchphrase at the end.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Everyone hates the trick or treat, motherfucker.
yeah. I get it, but I still really like this one.
Uh-huh.
I have fun with it. The kills are brutal. I think there's a great setup with the early live stream internet connection kind of a fad where they're using the real time
Hmm.
police. They're using the real time footage to try to help them out. I think that's
Hmm.
really clever. It has
Would you
some.
like to know something?
Go ahead.
This was my runner-up.
Oh,
I love this movie too. You're preaching the choir, man. Back when the internet was like a first thing and they doing the cameras, oh, I thought it was brilliant. And the scares are good and a good setup to do a Halloween movie. So no, I'm with you 100%.
oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I knew that you were kind of a fan of this one, but yeah, I'm just as much a fan.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is definitely an underrated one that really needs to be reevaluated. I wouldn't know how some of it plays today, especially because I know some of that would be a little outdated. But
Hmm.
at the time, yeah, I really liked it, and I thought there was a lot of interesting and unique concepts that it brought to the series. So
Yeah,
yeah, ignore the franchise, ignore the tagline, ignore the retcon. I think you'll have fun with it. So
I
we've
agree.
overlooked a lot of other stupid shit in this series. Why does that one not get a pass?
Yeah, like in part 6 where you stop by a bunch of rocks on the floor, right?
Exactly. I mean, I really like that, but I have my issues with some of them. I I,
Yeah.
I do like some of it, but I mean, yeah, there's a few things that even I can't defend. So
But no, I'm with you. I love
yeah,
Resurrection. Totally with you.
yeah,
That is my big runner up here.
nice. All right, so I think that puts us at number 5.
It does. My number 5 is Pet Cemetery 2.
Hmm.
Now, everybody I've ever seen hates on this. Everyone. They don't realize it's by the same chick who directed the first one, right?
Yeah.
And Clancy Brown can chew up scenery like he could chew up a steak. This guy is a. I love Clancy Brown. And
Yeah. So do I
Mr.
mention this?
Krabs.
Yeah.
What?
So I'm saying, do I mention that this is on my honorable mentions as well for those reasons? I've never understood the hate for this one. I actually like this one
Yeah,
more than the original.
really.
I don't
Well,
I
this
don't think
one,
it's I don't think it's better, but I like it more. That's the thing.
gotcha. I see. I
Yeah,
love.
yeah,
I
it's
saw it
not
in
a
the
better
theater.
yeah, it's not a better movie, but yeah, I like it more.
Yeah.
Exactly for those reasons. I think the gore is better. I
Hmm.
think the special effects are a lot better. Clancy Brown is just an
Oh,
absolute marvel.
dude, buddy, I love it. Oh, this movie is
Yeah,
so much fun and scary and good.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the scenes of him, just wrecking those hoodlums that have been messing with his
Yeah, the motorcycle. Yes.
yeah, the sun. Yeah, it's a blast. Yeah, I have it on my honorable mentions. So
Oh, nice, nice.
yeah, I mean, you had yours, so yeah, this one was on mine. So
See, see. All right,
exactly.
what is yours? Number 6. I'm sorry, number
And
5.
number 5. My number 5 again, another new one. This one came out last year. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was one of my favorites in the franchise. I don't get a lot of the hate for it. I went with Conjuring: The Devil Made Me Do It.
Oh, I've not seen that one.
Ah, okay. So yeah, then again, I'll try to make this just a little bit brief. I really enjoy the original. The original is in my top 5 favorite films of the 2010s. It's to
Yeah.
me, I think it's the pinnacle of mainstream studio horror. I think that's the one of the few films that the studios got right. That and I think the Evil Dead remake are just like top 2 for big budget, glossy, slickly made studio fare for that decade. I think those are the 2 that it got right.
Okay.
And as much as I like 2, I think that one's a little overlong. I think it goes on maybe 10 minutes too much.
Hmm.
There's, some unnecessary scenes, it feels to me like a director's cut that just got released to theaters accidentally instead of being, like a proper studio release. But if you shave like 10 minutes off of that thing, I'd like it a lot more. But I
Wow.
absolutely enjoyed 3.
Hmm.
I think the setup is really interesting because a lot of it was again a Fresh Cuts episode where we looked at the real life aspects of how it came to be. The setup is that this guy got possessed by this demon and he ended up murdering his boss in front of in front of his girlfriend and sent to prison. And then his defense was, I was possessed. The devil made me do it.
Uh,
And so, Ed and Lorraine Warren come in and they try to investigate how he got possessed. And
hmm.
the the film takes a different tone than where the real life version kind of dipped away from. The real life one was more of an investigation into, whether or not you could actually use that as a legal defense or whether or not you could actually like get away with it, whereas the movie goes more into investigating the demon that actually possessed him.
Oh, so this really was based on another thing they actually really did. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I the story's a little different. The setup is the same, where it's this guy who murdered his boss in front of
Right.
his girlfriend,
Well, in front of
and
whose girlfriend? The boss's
the
girlfriend or
brother,
his own?
the boyfriend, his
Okay.
girlfriend.
Gotcha.
So in the film, the boss is coming up to it. He's possessed, but does the boss doesn't know, and the boss makes like hey, you're supposed to do this, do this, do this, like why are you guys here? Like the girlfriend comes to visit and the boss is like hey, you're supposed to be doing this. It's like okay, work, let's just he's not being a dick about it. He's just like okay, come on, you've had your lunch break, you know send her away, go back to work. And the guy snaps and takes a knife and stabs him.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, so kills him like right in front of her. And then it's
Hmm.
she freaks out and runs away, gets the cops, and comes back, and they find him on the road, bleeding, and all of the you know stuff, and they
Mhm.
take him to court and process him, and then the defense is that I wasn't in my right mind, I was possessed, the devil made me do it.
The devil made
And
me do it. Yeah.
the idea was the real life case, from what I remember, is whether or not you could actually legitimately get away with that defense because you're not in the right mind,
Nice.
and whether or not that would be like a valid legal defense.
Right.
In the film, it's okay, he's possessed, let's figure out who did it and prove his existence to get him off the hook.
Huh.
So it's similar setup, but it kind of goes in like a different direction. I really like it. It's a little bit more of it's not a haunted house, jump scare factory like the other ones where it's,
Right.
things popping out of nowhere, or, somebody's just getting dragged across the room for no reason, slammed against the wall by an inhuman force.
Yeah.
It's not one of those. It's kind of like a little bit more of like a traditional investigative mystery with a few decent and really enjoyable set pieces. There's black magic involved, and there's like this mystery that gets brought up. So I've always really liked it, and I've always thought it was a lot of fun. And
Cool.
yeah, definitely one that I know everybody seems to think this is like the weakest of the franchise, but I've always really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun with it. So
Nice.
yeah, like I said, it's better than I found it at least better than 2, so deserve to make my list at number 5.
Nice. Yeah, my number four is not a what do you call it? Franchise film. It's not a sequel.
Mm.
It's a movie from the '70s that everyone shits on, saying it's the worst movie ever made. It's what's the word they use? They say, oh, it's so misogynistic and it's a torture movie, blood sucking freaks. I absolutely love this movie. I've seen it
Mm.
maybe 125,000 times, and I can't stop watching it. I love it.
Mhm.
Sure, it's got naked girls who are there to be tortured for the sake of it, but the whole point is that the lead guy is not raping these girls; he's gay himself.
Mm. Yeah.
And, I mean, it's not for his sexual pleasure. He's doing Grand Guignol for real.
Yeah.
And the effects by Ed French, they're so good for the '70s, but so bad. And the midget, the guy, the dwarf Ralphus, running around just like cutting girls' heads off and like having, I guess, oral sex with their heads. I laugh. It's so fun. But yeah, I can see why people would be offended by it. But if you just see it in my eyes, it's one of the most fun movies ever made.
Yeah. I recently watched this one for the first time for a show a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it was one of the highlights for me. We were doing like a hundred greatest, not 100 greatest, like 30 greatest exploitation films of all
Yes,
time.
pure exploitation.
Yeah, it was a highlight for sure. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah. Yeah, because I had never seen the uncut version. I'd always seen a stripped down version that kind of removed. It had all of the pubic shots removed.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
What about
Some of the
the ending when they actually the girls have a dick sandwich? Like they show bread with lettuce and a penis in the middle.
Yeah, that was all. I'd never seen any of that. Yeah, the way that version, the one that I saw ended was the I'm trying not to spoil this for much,
Well,
but
yeah, it was a 1976 movie.
I
Spoiler
know,
away.
but that's the kind of the thing is, but yeah, it's the girlfriend murders him,
Mhm.
and she runs off the hallway screaming "Master, Master," and then
Yeah.
the credits roll. So I
Oh
never
wow,
saw.
that's where they ended it.
Yeah, so
God,
yeah, so I never saw the orgy. I never saw any of the other stuff at the end. Yeah, it ended with her killing him and then running off down the hallway naked, screaming "Master, Master."
I'd never seen that version, but weird. But
Yeah,
seen uncut.
I did. That's kind of one of the things is that yeah, I never saw any pubic shots. They cut off the implication that he sucks Ralphus off.
Yeah, and at the end you find out he's gay. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, no,
He was having sex with a dead body too. A male, the
well, they
male
know, but I'm saying
critic.
is that the
He was a
shot.
necrophile too.
No, but I'm saying is that the specific shot where Ralph zips his pants and he like
Yeah.
looks down and like sucks him off.
Yep.
That part was missing.
Man,
They,
he really
yeah,
didn't see anything.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I saw a cut version years ago, and then I ended up finally seeing an uncut version. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. So
I'm glad you finally got to see the real version. But yeah, that's everyone like unanimously on the IMDb. I would be surprised if it has more than a 1.5. But it's one of my
yeah, I'd
favorite
have to
movies of
look
all
at that.
time.
But yeah, it was weird. All right, so my number four. Again, this one's going to be kind of another unusual pick. Not necessarily one that I know a lot of people are really going to agree with, but it's my list. Damn it. I have a lot of fun with it. I went with the remake of A Tale of Two Sisters called The Uninvited.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I've always really liked this one. I've always thought this was the one of the better of the J horror remakes that came out in the early 2000s.
You know, I did not know that this is like unanimously panned. I had no idea people didn't like this one.
Yeah, well, I think it was more just the scene in general because everybody always crapped on, Pulse and Dark Waters and the One Missed Call versions.
Hmm.
Um, I think Shutter was also another one that came out at that time. There may be another one if I'm missing, but um, yeah, there um was I said One Missed Call, right?
You did.
Okay, yeah, maybe that was the one because I know One Missed Call was
Yeah, that remake was yeah.
yeah, One Missed Call was really bad, but The Uninvited was the one that I always thought was one of the better of that movement. I really like the stripped down version it has. It keeps it moving, keeps it a little bit more interesting. I do like the ghost. I think there's a lot to like there. The sister relationship is actually pretty interesting. Being a little honest, I actually thought both of the girls were fucking hot.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that, actually.
Yeah, that was I do really enjoy what they did there. Not just the sleazy aspect, but the relationship that they had was just as good as the original. I don't really like the finale. I think the finale kind of cheats a little here and there, just trying to make the same twist work. But
Mhm.
overall, I've always really enjoyed it, and I always thought it was really undervalued. In that whole scene, I could have sworn that there would have been a few others in that time, but this was
Mhm.
kind of the one that killed that killed them off and kind of made them start doing other remakes because it was like right after this that Friday the 13th came out, and then they did Nightmare on Elm Street and
Right.
Piranhas and Fright Night, and
Oh, don't even say Black Christmas. Yeah.
yeah, there's a couple of others that kind of came out right around there that they weren't like the J horror remakes that we were getting. They were getting the other remakes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't get the hatred. I didn't know this was hated, actually. I enjoyed The Uninvited. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, but I mean,
I like the original, too, of course.
oh yeah, I mean the original is one of the better
Yeah.
J horror or Korean because it's not even Japanese,
Oh, it's
but
not even Jap. Right, it's Korean.
yeah, but yeah, I mean I always just lump it in just because, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Asian horror. How about that?
yeah, there we go. I'll deal with that, but
A
yeah,
horror.
yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
Uninvited. I've always really liked it, and I never really got the hate for it. I mean, maybe it's softened over time, but I haven't heard too many come to its defense recently. So yeah, I'm gonna do it
Oh,
right
in
now.
that case, here's a movie that I've never heard get defense. I think I am the only human on earth who enjoyed this in the theater and still loves is Freddy's Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street 5. I think this is one of the best sequels in the whole franchise. I really dug this. They were trying to kill off Freddy for once and for all, and they're like, all right, we're going to make it in 3D, this big budget extravaganza. We're going to get the guy from Alien. We're going to get, what's his name? Alice Cooper. We're going to get all these big names. And I dug the hell out of it. Even those stupid worms that came out of Freddy's thing in 3D. It was in good 3D at the time. I loved it. I thought It
Yeah.
was fun. Everything from the video game kill. I loved it. I thought it was so much fun with Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold. I don't know. I had no problem with this movie whatsoever, and I don't get the hate that it gets.
I'll be honest, my idea for my thoughts on this one kind of changed when I saw an actual 3D print of it. Because I think a lot of the hate for it kind of comes from seeing the blue and red version. I think that's kind of the way.
Uh,
I think a lot of people kind of saw it in that 3D, not the actual
the
true
crap
3D.
3D. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that could be a big reason for it. I think another, tolerance for the cheesy jokes over the, the dark and oppressive mood of the original. But I've come around to it. I'm not very high on it. I'm kind of indifferent towards it, but I will say that viewing it in originally intended 3D did change my opinion on it enough to not completely dismiss it. So
hmm.
I do think that there is a point to seeing it the way it was originally intended. So that could be a factor for future people to say, because I can say my opinion did change on it a lot when I viewed it the way it was originally intended in true 3D.
And that's the way I saw it, right in the theater, and right in the middle. And you see those snake things, and they're in the middle of the audience looking around. I thought that was perfect. I really had no problem. And the jokes, I don't know. That's me. I thought it was exactly what you want in a Freddy movie. You want the stupid one-liners, the gore. You got everything. Yeah, that was my number three.
Nice, yeah. So my number three, I'm pretty sure you were expecting one of these films to pop up sooner or later because it's me. I had to Sharknado.
The first one,
Yeah,
I'm not laughing.
I know. I'm just saying. I kind of was expecting. Well, I figured you would have expected me to put one of these on there, but
I really didn't. I didn't think anyone hates him. I thought everyone loves him.
yeah. But I'm just saying the general thing and the whole crappy shark movie in general. I mean
Yeah, but everyone, I thought like movies everyone hates, and I'm like, no, there wouldn't be six of them if everyone hated them.
true, but I've I had to put one of my killer shark movies on there for some reason. So
Hell's yeah.
yeah, I mean it's not like it's a really big deal, but it just I had to put it on there somewhere. I mean you know me, so
Yeah, of course.
yeah. So your number two.
All right, now we're gonna hear this again. My number two is Jason X.
I figured.
I love Jason X. I don't care what people say. I think if you ever read the script for it with the slow motion, like there was a chase scene with zero gravity, that was amazing. If they would have put that back in, people would like it more. The movie's got the best kill in any horror movie of all time, for Christ's sake, with that head in the nitro. What do you call it? The
Uh,
frozen stuff.
the
Yeah,
liquid nitrogen.
liquid nitrogen. Yeah, that is the best kill of all movies. So I don't get the hatred. Everything about this movie is exactly what you want, Jason. And then you get him in space, so they have some cybernetic things and the Uber Jason. It's cool, man. I don't know. I thought that was perfect. And the girls, I don't know, the robot girl, everything. I don't know. This is just one of the greatest Jason movies that nobody liked, but everybody wanted.
Yeah, I mean you know where I stand on that one.
Yep.
So
So I won't be long. I'm done.
yeah.
Jason X, my number two.
All right, yeah, my number two. Again, this is another kind of an early franchise entry that I'm starting to see a few more defenders for it, but I'm putting it on my list because I was always an early defender of this one. Child's Play 3.
Hmm.
So I always this could be, misremembering nostalgia, but when I grew up and I was coming into the genre, everyone always put this as the weakest one. Even when Bride came out, and then I think when Seed came out, I think everybody said that Seed finally was the one that took over this one as like the weakest of the franchise. But I've always really liked this one. I
Hmm.
always thought this one was better than two, actually.
Hmm.
And I know two gets a lot of love for I think because they brought Andy back and they kept the same actor.
Right.
But yeah, I always thought this one was the better one. I like the idea of what Chucky does in this military kit Academy. Some of the scenes in there are just out there and inventive. And then the whole idea of the war games that goes on at the very end. I always thought that that whole third act was just so much fun, where they realize they're firing live rounds.
Yeah,
Nobody knows what's going on, and it's supposed to be paint pellets, and
right.
Chucky's just creating chaos and havoc,
Mhm.
and the the actual finale in the carnival with the dark ride and all that. I
Mhm.
always thought that one was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I have seen some defend this one. I know that it's probably gotten a little bit more love recently, but I'm putting it on my list just because when I originally came in, I thought this one was always the weakest of the franchise.
Hmm.
So for maybe misguided nostalgia, or maybe I'm just misremembering, but yeah, I've always said this was one of the better ones in the series. I always thought it was better than two, but yeah, my number two is Child's Play 3.
There you go.
So,
Well, I don't think it's better than two.
well, I
Uh,
when I first saw it, I did, but yeah, that was kind of so that
would
was
you be
kind of the
sur-
reason. Oh, go
What's
ahead.
that? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, that was one of the reasons why I always thought it was weird that two was the one that got a lot of love, and three was said to be the weakest one.
Mhm.
So,
Well, for me, it was that way because I saw the first one in the theater. I was kind of not really into it. I was like, yeah, this is paint by numbers, and it wasn't that great. Two blew me away, and I was like, wow, this has the gore, this has this. And three, I was kind of like, what? Chucky's gonna be a bro? What? And then the military thing, and that's not the real Andy. I don't know. So that's why I didn't like three at first, but it grew on me. It did. It had some charming kills. It had Andrew Robinson as remember as the military dude.
yeah.
So there was some good stuff in three. Now, would you be surprised if my number one is Seed of Chucky?
Hmm. I knew we were.
No, 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 it's not Seed of Chucky. My number one is really Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Oh,
I
the same one I did.
absolutely love this movie. I don't care. Yeah, Don. Number the 3D is like my number one. Everyone shits on this. Yeah. All right. Like we said, do your thing, cause that this is the goriest chainsaw movie until the new one. This has everything. It's gritty. It's fun. It's got action. It's got a good plot. It's got Gunnar Hansen in the beginning and Bill Moseley in the beginning. Come on now. This is
Mm.
like one of the greatest love letters to the chainsaw franchises. And it's in 3D. I don't care what people say. This movie has so much heart, so much more heart than that stupid remake did. The 2003 thing, fuck that movie. This movie's really the better one.
Mm. Nice. Yeah. All right. So, well, since we're in the mode of defending unpopular remakes, my number one is the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh, that's a killer. Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah, I get it. The CGI looks terrible. Chucky's makeup, or not Chucky, Freddy, sorry. Freddy's makeup is atrocious. I love a lot of what they did with this one. I love the idea of finally making dreams feel like you had to go to sleep and Freddy was there.
Uh-huh.
The idea that this was the one that I think it finally got it right, where dreams equal death, and the fear of actually going to sleep. Now, it's an idea that I kind of switch back and forth between which one which one of these actually did it better, because I know that everybody always says that about the original, but I never really felt it. I always just said that that was just when he attacked, but I never really got the sense that there was really a deep fear of everybody sleeping.
Mhm.
I felt this one. Everybody. It's not just her. Every one of the teens, everybody is completely ragged. They're just, they're as overly tired and just drained. Circles under their eyes, just unresponsive.
Mhm.
I always felt that this was the one that got, the fear of sleeping fear of sleeping right.
Oh,
Freddy, I like what they did with him. I'm not in love with it, but I like what they did with him. I go back again. It's another one I go back and forth. I don't like a lot of the comedy that they brought in 4 and 5,
right.
even though I do actually find the lines funny. And that's the part that kind of I have a weird debate with, is that I find the lines funny, but it feels weird that they actually included it to begin with.
Mhm.
So the idea that this is Freddy going back to, 1 and 2, where he's silent, he's creepy, he's, this figure that lurks in the darkness, and he's somebody that's ready to just pounce at any opportunity.
Oh, might I add another Clancy Brown movie?
Oh, true. Yeah, he has a nice role in this as well.
And I,
So,
I I will give you this too. As we talked on the show a long time ago, I really dug the fact that you don't know, is Freddy really guilty or innocent. I like that you toy with that.
right, yeah. And yeah, that's, again, then, that's another thing that, the original is kind of, notorious for, is that the original spells it out that he was the one that did it, but he got away on a technicality.
Right. And this one, you don't know.
Yeah,
Now, that would have been cool if he was really innocent and was getting even on the kids because of that. That would have been a really cool motive.
indeed. I think there's a few fan films that toy with that idea. I'm not entirely, I don't remember them offhand, but I know that there's a few that have said that, Freddie was initially innocent, but, mob mentality brought him to
Right.
mob
That's a
mentality.
really cool thing to put in there.
Yeah, mob mentality brought him down, and he's now back, because of, revenge and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will admit the CGI has not aged. I do admit Freddy is not, as threatening. His makeup looks terrible. He's not as threatening, but it's a lot better than some of the other films, and I did have a lot of fun with it.
Fair
It's
enough.
one of the Is it one of the best in the franchise? No. Is it the weakest in the franchise? No. But yeah, a film I really like that everybody seems to crap on.
Yep.
I'm gonna defend it. Yeah.
There
So
you go.
yeah,
Everyone does shit on this. You're right.
yeah. My number one is the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
There you go.
So yeah, if you have any honorable mentions
No,
before
you
we,
actually mentioned my honorable mention, so I
yeah.
only had that one.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, like I said, I had the Pet Cemetery 2 on mine.
Uh-huh.
I had I mean, you mentioned the other one, but the last one I had, I always really liked this one, and I always I know a lot of people kind of crapped on it when it came out, thinking it was just another Conjuring film, but I enjoyed The Curse of La Llorona. I always
I've
thought,
not seen it. I've heard about it, but heard bad things, so I didn't even bother. So
yeah,
you can defend this now because maybe it'll make me want to see it.
okay, I really like it. It kind of toys more with the mythology of the figure than trying to, actually present the figure as being alive and loose and, just wreaking havoc.
Huh?
I mean, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the La Llorona legend
Oh,
or
I am very familiar with La Llorona.
okay, so yeah,
She murdered her kids in the water.
right,
Yep.
yeah, the weeping woman,
Yep.
all that kind of good stuff, yeah. So it plays more with believing in the fact that she's real more than, the fact that she's actually out. And there's some actually decent jump scares in here. It's not like a repetitious jump scare factory, but I think there's a few that it the promotional material for it actually ended up inadvertently putting that together as the trailer. That's the problem with it.
Huh.
So even though it's not, the jump scare factory that a lot of the Conjuring films are, that was how it was sold. So that was
Right.
the impression that everybody got out of it.
Right, like the nun. Yep.
Right. Yeah. That's actually the one I haven't seen, so I don't know how that one goes. But yeah, it was presented as a jump scare factory, but it's really not. It's kind of a little bit more of folklore mysticism, kind of figuring out how to defeat it
Huh.
rather than trying to, you know, it's just out and about and trying to, kill as many people as possible.
Gotcha. Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
different than I did not. I expected jump scare factory like the Nun, and just nothing. And cool. Wow.
yeah,
All right, you sold me on that. I do want to see this now.
yeah. I mean, that's like I said, that was how it was marketed. So I think that was kind of everybody's impression of it. So
Right.
yeah, guess that wraps us up for the evening. So yeah, this was a lot of fun, man. Great to
Yeah.
catch up and
Absolutely.
do
Yes,
this.
and dude, I am so glad to be a part of your show. I'm so glad to be a part of anything right now. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah. So I'm. If you have anything that you want to shout out, promote, anything you want to shine a little love to.
Not really. Well, there's one thing I'm in that I just saw was Blood and Guts in the Sunshine. It was a documentary on the horror movies made in Florida, which they actually have a scene of me from Dirty Cop No Donut, but that's about it.
Oh, I remember.
Blood,
So
Guts, and Sunshine State or something like that. I forgot. Sean Donahue did it. The guy who did what do you call movies? The Death Escort Service that
okay.
Brandon loves so much.
Yeah. Go ahead and give a little bit about that. Just slight background for context.
Oh, about Brandon from the Exploding
No, for
Heads.
no
What?
for you being in Dirty Cop No Donut.
Oh yeah,
If
that I
yeah, you
in
being
the
in the documentary and all that. A little bit of background.
yeah the movie chronicles a whole bunch of movies and filmmakers in Florida in the 19. I guess it started from the Creature from the Black Lagoon up until now. And it shows stuff from the 90s. One of the projects I was involved, well, a bunch of stuff I was involved in, but only one scene of me. You get to see my stupid fat ass in the shower from Dirty Cop No Donut for a scene. And that's why the director, Sean Donahue, kept saying, like, hey, did you watch it yet? I said, no, I was just about to put it in. He goes, did you watch it yet? So I finally watched it and said, yes, and thank you for having me in that scene.
Yeah. So yeah. I will. I think that should be available if Sean hasn't kept it on the Indiegogo pre-orders. But
Oh, no, now it's for sale. Now it's out.
yeah. Yeah. So I will definitely have that link down below for everybody to check out. So yeah. Like I said, this was great to catch up and reconnect like old times, man. So
Absolutely, brother.
yeah. Thank you so much for coming on board, and we will see you next time with a new episode.